Here is how to add words to LAMP Words for Life. Since 84 one-hit is mostly core vocabulary, I'm going to show you how to add words to 84 full and 84 transition. I'm in the LAMP Words for Life 84 full program right now, and I'm going to add 3 different words. I'm going to add a food, fruit snacks. I'm going to add a family member, the family dog, Simon, and I'm also going to add a classmate, Tom. So the first thing you have to do is know where you're going to add the word. So I am going to add the word fruit snacks under the apple. And I could put it in the subcategory of snacks, but instead of doing that, I could put it here. But rather than doing that, I want to make this word only 2 hits away because this is something that this individual really likes. So I only want to make it 2 hits away rather than 3. So I'm going to add the word fruit snacks right here. And also know that in the full vocabulary, these 5 keys will always be blank. So they're a really nice spot to add those words, those nouns that you only want to be 2 hits away. So I'm going to look at this key and not touch it. And then I'm going to select my setup key, the gray wheel, and then your setup key. And then select the key I wish to modify. So this one right here. And you're going to see that there is a programming triangle. That's what I call it. Number 1 is change icon. Number 2 is spell message or defined key function. And number 3 is change label. So I always program in this order because it's most efficient. So I'm going to first select number 1, change icon. And I'm going to search for the icon by spelling. So I'm going to spell icon to find. I'm looking for a picture of fruit snacks. So I'm going to type the word fruit to see what comes up, and I'm going to say OK. I have 2 options, this one and this one. I like this one right here, so I'm going to select it. My message looks good, fruit snacks, and the label looks good, fruit snacks. So I am all set, so I'm going to say OK. So now once I select the apple again, my fruit snacks appear right here. The next thing I'm going to do is add the family dog, Simon. I'm going to put him under the family icon. And you'll see here I have this key blank. So I'm going to put Simon right here. Look at the key, don't touch it. Select your setup key. Select the key you wish to modify, this blank key in the corner. Programming triangle, change icon. What I'm going to do here is I have a picture of Simon on my flash drive, and the flash drive is plugged into the device. So I'm going to import the picture of Simon into the device. So what I'm going to do is select import icon. And what it's going to do is look on my flash drive, and all of my pictures are going to come up that I have on my flash drive. I'm going to do more items until I see Simon. There he is. So I'm going to check that right there and then select OK. Here is Simon, and it's labeled all right. So I'm going to say OK. And now it asks me if I want to put it in a category, or I can select cancel to put it in an imports folder. I usually like to select cancel to put it in an imports folder. So I'm going to select cancel. There is Simon. I do need to make the first letter of his name capital. I think it's important to remember individuals who use AAC, everything that they say goes up into the message window. So it acts as a literacy cue. So we want to make sure that we have correct capitalization as well as punctuation. So the other thing I want to do is make sure I have a space after the word Simon, because I don't want those words to run together in the message window. So I have a capital S and a space after the last character. So I'm going to say OK. And the label looks good, and I'm going to say OK again. So now Simon is here. Next, I'm going to add a classmate, Tom. Additional names that aren't family members can be added under the mine key. So I have a whole area to add lots of different people in my life. So I'm going to add Tom right here. Once again, look at the key, don't select it. Select your setup key. Select the blank key that you wish to modify. Change icon. This time I'm going to search for a symbol by category. So I'm going to go to the people category. and then people again, and select an icon that looks like Tom. So I'll select this one right here. Number 2, spell message. I need to change the message. The icon name was boy, and I'm going to clear the display and then type Tom. Capital T-O-M with a space after it, and then say OK. And label looks good. Select OK. So that's how you can add nouns to the Words for Life full vocabulary, and there's Tom. Next thing we're going to do is go to the transition vocabulary and take a look at that. So I'm going to head into the toolbox, the user area menu. I'm going to switch the user area and then go into LAMP 84 transition. I can see I'm in that area, so I'm going to say OK, and then go to home. I can add those 3 same words in the transition vocabulary, and I'm going to add them in the same spots, and I'll tell you why. So when I look under the apple here, you can see in transition, I don't have all of that vocabulary. So what transition really is, it's a subset of that full vocabulary. So there are thousands of words in the full vocabulary. Transition is a subset of about 200 of them. So what I want to do is, I know that in the full vocabulary that all of these keys are filled up with subcategories of food, but I also know in the full vocabulary that these 5 keys are going to be blank. So I'm going to add that same word, fruit snacks, to this key right here, because I know if I were to graduate to the full level, that key would also be blank, and I could add that word to that same spot. So look at that key, select your setup key, select the key you wish to modify, this blank key here. Once again, we're going to start with change icon. I'm going to spell the icon to find, and I'm going to type the word fruit and say OK. Select my picture of fruit snacks. Message is good, label is good, so I'm going to say OK. Add the family pet, so I'm going to go back to my family icon. I know in the full vocabulary that this key is blank, so that's where I'm going to add Simon. Setup key, blank key, we want to modify. I'm going to hit change icon. This time I know Simon is in the imports category because I've already imported him into the device. So I'm going to go to the imports category and select Simon. I do need to modify the message. I don't want Simon to be in all caps, so I'm going to clear the display and type it again. Shift, Simon, and space, and then select OK. Label's good, select OK. And we'll have our Simon here, and then finally our classmate Tom. Setup key, select my blank key, change icon. I'm going to go by category people, people again. Here's the icon I used. I do need to change that message once again. Clear display, shift, space, and say OK. And label looks good, and say OK again. So here we have Tom, our classmate. So that is how you add nouns to the LAMP Words for Life full and LAMP Words for Life transition vocabularies.